Hello, friends. Thank you all for joining another episode of Life and News with Elle Reed. Today, we'll look into a topic that's been around for many years, but currently is becoming a trending and egregious problem nationwide, especially since the massive influx of illegal immigration into the U.S. It's called squatting. Many use an old law tactic called adverse possession to, in many cases, get away with claiming someone else's property. Check out this brief explanation of adverse possession.
Adverse possession, sometimes colloquially described as squatter's rights, is a legal principle that applies when a person who does not have legal title to a piece of property, usually land, attempts to claim legal ownership based upon a history of possession or occupation of the land without the permission of its legal owner. In general, a property owner has the right to recover possession of their property from unauthorized possessors through legal action such as ejectment. However, in the English common law tradition, courts have long ruled that when someone occupies a piece of property without permission and the property's owner does not exercise their right to recover their property for a significant period of time, not only is the original owner prevented from exercising their right to exclude, but an entirely new title to the property springs up in the adverse possessor. In effect, the adverse possessor becomes the property's new owner. Over time, legislatures have created statutes of limitations that specify the length of time that owners have to recover possession of their property from adverse possessors. In the United States, for example, these time limits vary widely between individual states, ranging from as low as 5 years to as many as 40 years. Although the elements of an adverse possession action are different in every jurisdiction, a person claiming adverse possession is usually required to prove non-permissive use of the property that is actual, open and notorious, exclusive, adverse, and continuous for the statutory period. Personal property, traditionally known as chattel, may also be adversely possessed, but owing to the differences in the nature of real and chattel property, the rules governing such claims are rather more stringent, and favor the legal owner rather than the adverse possessor. Claims for adverse possession of chattel often involve works of art.
Now, with that being said, let's hope that our next guest's call to action for other incoming immigrants to head out to the U.S. in pursuit of this outrageous property grab will not be so easy or successful. This is what he had to say to his fellow and potential illegal immigrants following him on his social media.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States, ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
The House came with something unexpected. A man living in their home, who they say, refuses to leave. So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
Being arrested
For what?
for being in my own home.
I'm sure you all noticed included in that video a recent encounter of the actual homeowner, a woman being handcuffed and jailed because she was confronting and trying to remove squatters, who may have gotten the idea from our previous guest, Leonel Moreno, which, by the way, is also a freeloading illegal immigrant, an advocate of criminalistic migrants like the teenager now under arrest for shooting at an undercover police officer, with his brazen bullets hitting a female tourist in the leg. Let's take a look at the arrest, as what sounds like probably his mother weeping and wailing as she stands by watching him being led away in handcuffs. It only proves that's what he was doing back in Venezuela, but met his match of jail time in the US. And that's the reality of what false claims of seeking asylum from criminals looks like in disguise, after they've lied to receive asylum or a chance at the American dream. Just listen and look at them. The same act they put on to get let across the border. I actually feel for the mother or other relative that was bawling her eyes out over his arrest. It's probably how they were crying back home over his criminal behavior and decided to flee their country to get him away from that gangster-type lifestyle that he obviously brought with him to America. And just imagine all of the so-called gotaways his age and older adults, lurking in the crowds and shadows, ready to pounce on and assault, steal from, and rob, just like they did back home where they came from. Let's wrap this segment up with a horrifying result of how squatting can cost either the squatter or their victims a tragic outcome.
We're going to begin with the manhunt for squatters suspected of killing a woman and then stuffing her body into a duffel bag.
Police say the victim walked into the apartment in Kips Bay last week, found the squatters in the living room, and that would be the last time anyone saw her alive again.
Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan live outside that apartment building where neighbors are understandably nervous. Jim?
Sandra, Natalie Vitale was murdered inside apartment 19A in this Kips Bay building. To get to that apartment, to get to that floor, you need a special key for the elevator. Police now believe the two people who killed her somehow got hold of that key and used it to stay in the apartment while she was away, until Ms. Vitale unexpectedly came home and found them there. Nadia Vitale came to the apartment to prepare it for a visitor who was coming soon. Police have spent a week investigating the case and now say she was murdered brutally by a man and a woman who were squatters in her apartment.
We send out our deepest condolences to her family and friends. And for the record, at this time we don't know, nor allege at this time, whether these two home invaders are illegal immigrants or a couple of homeless Americans. Either way, it's a shame as always that someone has to lose their life or freedom for such an egregious, unfair, criminal, deadly act as this. And that's all for now, friends. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Bye for now. See you next time.